Hello everyone and welcome to another Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 theory video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the ending of Chapter 2 and why it happened. And before we go any further, I need to remind you that there are going to be some massive spoilers in this video, as we're talking basically about the ending and all the moments in between. So of course, spoilers. So today's video we're going to be talking about and theorising about why Poppy betrayed us. But of course I wouldn't be a YouTuber if I didn't ask you to hit subscribe to help support me in the channel, because if you like theories and explain videos then this is the channel for you. And we talk about a whole range of games, one of which is Poppy Playtime, and you'll be helping again the channel out a lot. And speaking of helping the channel and myself, if you look in the description there is a referral link to the Poppy Playtime merch store, where if you use that link and my code It's Just Jord, you can get 10% off your order, and then you get to save a little bit of money on your order. But with that being said, shameless self-promotion out of the way, let's get into this theory video. So, why did Poppy betray us, and how did she betray us? Well, let's quickly recap the how of the question. As most of us know, Poppy betrayed us by changing her mind at the end of the game from helping us escape to sending us further into the factory. She gave us a little pep talk, if you will, just before the switch, and the train track's path changed and made our next stop Playcare, soon to be known to us as Chapter 3. Now, I think it's important to highlight all of her dialogue from Chapter 2. Granted, she only has one line at the end of Chapter 1, but I do think it's important for context. So let's quickly recap what she says in order from chapter to chapter, because I think her words and tone speak volumes in figuring out what's going on. So, here is what she says in Chapter 1. You open my case. And that is the end of Chapter 1. And in Chapter 2, she says the following. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I was just trying to get the power back on. Here. I wanted to thank you for freeing me. I was stuck in there for so long. Thank you. I'd like to pay you back. There's a train station nearby. It needs a code, and I have it. We're gonna get out of here as soon as you get on up here. Hey, I'm up here. I see you. Haha. I should be able to follow you through the vents. This way. Listen. I'm going to need you to trust me. 10 out of 10 voice acting confirmed. And then once Poppy gets returned to us, because she was obviously abducted by Mommy Longlegs, her dialogue changes to this. Did you kill her? Good. I'll board the train. We need to leave. I was so scared she put me back in that case. But you saved me. You are perfect. Too perfect to lose. I'm sorry I can't let you leave. I've never met anyone like you. Do you know how long I've been stuck in that case? Well, too long. I had so much time to think and reflect. Time to figure out exactly what I would do when I was free. We'll set things right. Terrible things have happened. But I know whatever I need you to do, you are capable. We will... And it's at this point she gets cut off. By what and who we don't know. But we can only make out the last part of a sentence, which is, what are you? And I can only imagine it means, what are you doing? But if you would like me to speculate about who that is, let me know in the comments below, because I actually do have a few theories about that in particular. But anyway, so, as we can see from the dialogue and how it progresses, there's quite a shift from when Poppy first talks to you after opening the case to reuniting with you, after being held captive for so long. And we know that Mommy Longlegs was the one who put Poppy in the glass case, and we know this from the end dialogue. But could we argue that just because she said she, could it well mean someone else? But I imagine, given the context in the previous chat, it would be heavily implied that the conversation was related to Mommy Longlegs. So therefore I would be comfortable assuming the her is referring to Mommy Longlegs. What's interesting is the information that Poppy gives us at the start and how she delivers that information. As at the start, she is offering to help us, to help the player, and she's none the wiser of who we are. She wanted to thank us for freeing her. And as we've learnt from the dialogue after Poppy got caught from Mommy Longlegs, Poppy seems to have had a shift of tone and personality. Rather than being a happy chippy girl at the start, who was very apologetic because she could have scared you, and have that kind of playful manner, which just reminds you that, you know, she is just a young girl. But when you find her after getting the code, she now turns into more of a cold and calculated vessel. She seems to want to know factual things first before deciding her next dialogue or move. She seems to spend the time making sure you know why she has took that step. So why? Well, I have a potential theory for why she betrayed us and her whole manner and mood changed. So let's theorize. My theory for the reason behind Poppy's betrayal is that Mommy Longlegs had Poppy in her possession, and while she was in Mommy Longlegs' possession, I think she's been informing Poppy about the player, us. And we know that Mommy Longlegs does have some key information as we hear it in the tutorial for PJ's introduction, where Mommy Longlegs tells us about how the children would call her Mummy because she was the closest they ever had. And if that wasn't enough proof that they were just using the orphans, I don't know what else you need. But Mommy says the following lines. They left Mommy to die alone. Mommy didn't deserve that, but you worked here, so if anyone deserves to die alone, it's you. They have so much emotion behind them, and they're impactful. And now we know that the player worked in the factory. Now, this information is beyond important, as we know that they have a much stronger connection than we originally thought. The question is, though, in those bits of dialogue, like I said just, you can really feel the emotion coming from Mommy Longlegs. She really hates us, and like we know from the ending and the end chase scene, she seems to allude to the idea and characteristic of hating cheaters. Whether that be in a game, whether that be in a relationship, she hates them. And it is safe to say she really hates us. We must have really hurt her. Whether that be physical or emotionally, who knows? She wants to see us suffer and be in pain. She enjoys it when we struggle. But how much does Mommy Longlegs know about us? What impact did we have on the factory? What was our job? Were we one of the scientists? Or perhaps something even more? What if we were a successful experiment? The final model, the final experiment, the one that worked, the one they can't stop talking about, the one that puts the older toys aside from now on. We were the main toy. So much to question and a lot of interesting thoughts, but unfortunately not enough to really back that up with the information that we have at this point. But with that being said, Chapter 2 has had quite a good few names in it, and we've learnt quite a lot about all the characters. But again, none of these names are relevant to us. Doesn't explain anything about the player. Not really even an indication until now. I think we need to be looking for our identity more within the game, and there is one great piece of evidence that could give us a clue as to why the characters hate us once they learn about us. And that's the slides at the start of the game station. As we know, we start the chapter falling through a slide, and these slides have all specific locations and nameplates above them. And luckily for us, these slides are all named. Now, I think it would be a very sensible assumption to assume that all these names were heads of departments, and that they are the following names: Eddie MMR, Leif Pierre, Elliot Ludwig, Stella Greybeard. Now, we know that one of these nameplates is missing, and some of the text has fallen to the floor, and it looks intentional damage. Out of anger, perhaps? But on the floor, we see a set of letters, and the letters are the following: MBIANOEJAHY. Now, this is where I think we can begin to piece together a part of the player's identity and the reasoning for everyone hating us. From these letters, we can make a variety of names. For example, John, Joey, Jane, Jean, Joe, and Ben, but my favourite by far is Job Name. Perhaps it's just a placeholder for now. There are some names that I've managed to find, and I don't think it's going to be very resourceful looking for a second name, as there could be so many variations, I don't think we could even know. But here's a bit of information that's actually rather interesting, and it will help us in our aid to figure out the name of the player. So, we know at the top of the nameplate there are 5 characters, and underneath for the surname there are 6. But what if it's us? What if this nameplate was our department? What if this was what Mommy Longlegs was alluding to? It would seem to make sense too, as it seems important employees only possess these shortcuts in the factory. This lines perfectly with what Poppy says to us on the train about being perfect. You are perfect, too perfect to lose. What was our job role? So much so that Poppy is now convinced we'll set things right. Terrible things have happened, but I know whatever I need you to do, you are capable. I think, and this is where I theorise, I think while Poppy was in captivity with Mommy Longlegs informed Poppy about who we were, what we did, and what we could be used to achieve. Whether or not this is for good or bad, who knows, but we now know that there are 2 sides to this factory party, we'll say, as we know Experiment 1006 is on the loose, and growing stronger with the new collection edition Mommy Longlegs. And now we have Poppy, a toy that's been caged for so long, she's been planning away for the years that she's been inside that cage. And now her main issue, Mommy Longlegs, is out of the way, and she got that confirmed by us. She can continue and go about fixing all the mistakes within the factory. But here's the thing I can't quite wrap my head around. If this is true, Poppy couldn't have known who we were without Mommy Longlegs telling Poppy. Because at the beginning, Poppy was kind. As I mentioned earlier, she had a nicer persona, a better tone, more playful, more thankful. She wasn't aware just yet of who we were. So that tells us actually quite a little bit of interesting information. She doesn't know. She wasn't aware of what we looked like either. So what field of work did we do where we remained anonymous to the creations? Or better yet, are we the creations? Again, were we the creation that Elliot Ludwig had fully envisioned? Because perhaps, until recently, a lot of the toys have just assumed we were just toys. Nothing more, nothing less. We were just roaming around the factory, doing our business. Perhaps they assumed that we were also a failed experiment, surviving in the factory. But now they know we're something more. Perhaps again, this is where the hatred and fear and anger comes from. Either way, it's a really interesting topic no matter which angle you look at it, and I don't think we're done just yet. I think the theorizing has just begun, as I'm going to be looking further into this and also like 7 other theories that I've got going on at the moment. So I believe that concludes my theory of why Poppy betrayed us. But let me know what you think, everyone, in the comments below. I would really like to hear what you have to say on this topic. And remember, if you enjoyed this video and love Poppy Playtime and the content, make sure to hit like and subscribe. I would be super grateful if you hit subscribe. It really helps the channel and myself. But with that being said, I wish you the best morning, day or night wherever you are in this world. Stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next Poppy Playtime theory video.